Welcome to another edition of the In the Ring Show with your host Devious Damien, and this is tonight's Super Smackdown Live review. You come out, first it starts off with Lillian introducing Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan basically comes out and brags about winning the Elimination Chamber and how nobody believed in him, and now he's going to main event WrestleMania, yada yada yada. Out comes The Miz. Miz telling him that ever since he was his pro on NXT, the first season, how he always believed in him, and how he always knew he was going to be a world champion. I seem to remember The Miz singing on a different tune when he was coaching Bryan on NXT, but whatever. So anyway, after The Miz praising Daniel Bryan and saying that they should form a tag team, out comes Sheamus and throws a couple insults at Daniel Bryan and The Miz. It leads to The Miz trying to get, or not The Miz, but Sheamus trying to get at Daniel Bryan. The Miz attacking Sheamus from behind, which sets up, after the commercial break, Sheamus versus The Miz. Sheamus wins, not a surprise. Then after that, you get the typical Taylor and Oksana segment, where Oksana says she wants Teddy to be the general manager of on Smackdown, and so John Laurinaitis walks in and sees what's going on and says it's unprofessional. Personally, I think Laurinaitis is jealous because he can't get laid, but that's another story. And says that this is more proof that Teddy's not fit to run SmackDown, whatever. Next we get Kofi Kingston and R-Truth versus Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. I thought they were going to build Kofi Kingston and R-Truth as a tag team, but then they just kind of jobbed them out to Ziggler and Jack Swagger here, which I don't get because Swagger and Ziggler aren't really a tag team. They just kind of get thrown together because they're both managed by Vicky Guerrero, but whatever. And of course they have to mention, throughout the night they mentioned the War of Words between CM Punk and Chris Brown, which is a video I'm going to make right after I'm done with this video. Then, after the next commercial break, we get Khali versus Drew McIntyre. Short match. I almost didn't even want to watch this thing. And if I had gone to take a piss, I would have missed the match. That's how short it was. No surprise, Drew McIntyre loses again. I don't get it. I don't understand the WWE's logic here. It makes no sense to me. But, whatever. Mark Henry versus The Big Show. No, they didn't actually announce a winner for this one. But if you ask me, in my opinion, Henry wins by countout because Big Show left the ring. Even though that wasn't the official decision, in my opinion, that's what happened. Then we had David Otunga against Ezekiel Jackson. Rematch from last night's Raw. Otunga wins yet again. Surprise, surprise. So then, and throughout the night, we had different things going on with Long and Laurinaitis. And then, there was a CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan match later in the night that took place. That involved Laurinaitis and Long, which I think they're building for that match at WrestleMania, to be honest with you. That seems to be really what they're building towards here. I don't understand it, but, whatever. Sorry about that. A little bit of commentary in the background there. There was a little video playing that popped up on me. Yeah, if you're wondering why there was a video, it's because I was just, getting a little bit of a refresher. That's what I've done on Smackdown. So, anyway. So, So then we had CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. Um, no clear-cut winner. And the screwed up thing is, Laurinaitis is supposed to be the general manager of Raw, yet he sticks up for a SmackDown guy, and vice versa. So, and if there's a little altercation between Long and Laurinaitis, or excuse me, Boronitis, I'm sorry, I've been saying his name wrong, it's Boronitis, which leads me to believe they're going to face off at WrestleMania. So, you know, I did another video about this before, but I feel that I've got to say this again. Boronitis is not over with the fucking crowd. And I gotta believe that WWE knows that. Because they've made several attempts to get him over. But the fans continue to boo him as if they're saying to him, "Why are you here? Get out. We don't know why you're here. We don't want to see you. Get out." And the WWE doesn't listen. Instead, they insist on getting this boring asshole over. So let me get this straight. It's okay for you to give up on Chris Masters. It's okay for you to give up on the British Bulldog son when he couldn't get over. You were about to give up on Zack Ryder. So it's okay for you to give up on them. But, let's see. But you refuse to give up on Boronitis? You know, okay. If you don't want to fire him, you know, and you want to keep him in an off-screen role, that's fine. But you refuse to give up on him as an on-screen personality? Excuse me. You make no sense, WWE. You are hypocritical. You give up on wrestlers who can't get over, but yet you keep this boring asshole on TV week after week. You keep trying to get him over. You try and you try. Here's what saddens me. You try a lot harder with Boronitis than you ever did with some of your wrestlers. When that's who the focus should be on, damn it. The focus should be on the wrestlers on the roster. The ones who actually get in the ring and do things. Not some boring asshole who was never even good in the ring. He sucked. You know, I mean, okay. I mean no disrespect to Japanese wrestlers, because a lot of Japanese wrestlers are very good. I won't deny that. But let's face it, a lot of Japanese wrestlers are not worldwide known. A lot of them aren't. I guarantee you, if you were to take a list of guys from Japan, and you were to ask a WWE fan or a TNA fan, or maybe a fan of both places, if you were to give them, say, a list of 20 Japanese wrestlers right now, I guarantee you that any fan of the WWE or TNA, hell, even I myself, might even only be able to name 2 of them. Maybe 3. You know, I mean, as good as Japanese wrestlers usually are, unfortunately, they don't usually get worldwide fame. That's just the way it is. Sad, maybe, but it's the way it is. And I mean, and I'm not just singling out Japanese wrestlers. That's a lot of wrestlers, quite frankly. But the reason I'm talking about Japan is that's the only place Laurinaitis was even given a shit about. He was given a shit about in a country. But it's been proven, though, that for some reason Japan loves American wrestlers. Why? I'm not really sure. Why they seem to favor American wrestlers over their own is beyond me, but anyway. But he can never make it on a mainstream level. So, I mean, and Shane Douglas has even said he wasn't that good. Guys didn't want, when he was in WCW as part of the Dynamic Dudes, guys did not want to work with him. And I'm not talking about Shane, I'm talking about Johnny. They didn't want to work with Johnny. They did not want to work with him. You know, and I'm not saying that Shane Douglas is, you know, perfect, that his shit don't stink, but, you know, when you've had more than one person saying shit about, you know, Boronitis, and how, you know, people didn't like him, nobody wanted to work with him, Shane Douglas is not the only person who said it. You know, Cornette doesn't like him. Cornette, you know, Cornette didn't like him for the same reason. He's said it a couple times himself. Shane Douglas has said it. The fans booed them. When they were supposed to be the top babyface tag team of the company, they were trying to build them up as that, but they got booed. Why? Well, because one, Johnny Ace sucked. But for the second reason, they couldn't skateboard. So, okay, so let me get this straight. A guy who had so little talent in the ring that his own peers didn't want to work with him. Who, you know, it's been widely agreed by a lot that he wasn't all that great in the ring. And so he's basically doing the only thing he can do in the business, and that's wear a damn suit and be boring. And WWE insists upon getting this guy over. Oh, man, sometimes I swear when I try to grasp the logic of the WWE, it gives me a headache. It really does. You know, I know I said it, you know, a few minutes ago, but I'm going to say it again because I feel it's the truth. You were about to give up on Zack Ryder. You were about to you gave up on the British Bulldog son, D.H. Smith. You gave up on Chris Masters. And that's just a few guys you've given up on. You know, it's like, so you're so quick to give up on wrestlers. Now, I know some wrestlers ask for their release. Okay. But you know, the ones that don't ask for their release, that you basically give up on. Oh, okay. Here's the classic example. Well, you didn't release him, but you've taken Brodus Clay off fucking TV. And you know what's bullshit about that? You know, Vince, I'm going to blame you. Because I know Triple H is the on-screen guy who's running things, but Vince, we all know it's really still you. So, Vince, at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. You take Brodus Clay off TV. And why, do you ask? I know why you took him off TV. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's tell the truth about it. You gave him that gimmick as punishment. And then when you started to see, oh shit, that gimmick that I gave him as a punishment is actually getting over, you're pulling the plug on it. Because once you see he actually had the charisma to get the gimmick over, you know, you're like, okay, that's it, enough. So you take Brodus Clay off TV because he actually got over with a stupid gimmick that you tried to punish him with. You know, you want to call yourself a company that prides itself on entertainment. Yet you took one of the most entertaining guys that you had currently on TV, off TV, and you keep that boring fuck Laurinaitis on TV. Vince, he's boring. He doesn't get booed because he's a heel. He gets booed because the fans can't figure out why the fuck he's out there. They can't figure it out. I'm not saying this is the way all fans feel, but I'm betting dollars to donuts that the vast majority feel this way. Excuse me. So Vince, get a fucking clue. Take that boring bastard off TV. The fans who watched the Elimination Chamber, they saw how pathetic your attempt to get Boronitis over was. You had to have Del Rio come out. You had to have Christian come out. You had to have two guys that haven't been seen on TV in God knows how long come out and try to make the segment interesting because Boronitis can't do it on his own. And you know it, Vince. You fucking know it. You know the fans don't understand why he's there. You try to get him over, but the fans see right through it. They know that you're putting these guys out there to try to get him over, and that's just going to make the fans shit on him even more, Vince. Get a clue. Laurinaitis is not over. He never will be over. Get him the fuck off TV, and for fuck's sake, bring back Brodus Clay. For fuck's sake, he was entertaining. Anyway, that's been my SmackDown review and Laurinaitis rant. Peace out.